Hey, what's up, guys? Got another analysis for you. And it's been a while since I've done one of these. I've just been super busy, so appreciate everyone who watches, and hopefully this content is helpful. Normally, I do someone who is got some notoriety just because their name brings attention to the video, right? Generally, all these shooters are very competent, and they're doing most everything pretty well. However, the point of these videos are to use what they're doing as an example of where we can make smaller improvements to be better shooters as a whole, right? And it's really for you, the viewer, to have a visual aid to what I'm explaining. So I'm going to deviate a little bit, and I'm going to actually use some of the guest shooters that are here with MilSpec Mojo. And I'm just coming across videos that come through my feed. This is the latest one where I saw a variety of shooters doing some drills at a good camera angle that I could coach. So I don't know who these guys are. And again, this is just about using what they're doing as a visual example. So a couple, I think, are cops, and another guy, I think, is just a civilian shooter. Doesn't matter, right? They're out here training, which is all good. So let's get started. We have our first shooter here, and we're going to watch what he does, and then we'll make some critiques that I think will improve his time and efficiency, right? So we're always looking for efficient movement, so that way we build speed and accuracy, right? So let's watch. All right, okay, so not too bad. All right, so I don't want to get too stuck in the minutia of things because we got multiple shooters and they're doing multiple things at rifles and pistols. These are like just the things that are, in my opinion, the most obvious. So we have the shooter in his position. We're going for a high ready. What I would say here is your eye line is here, right? Try to keep the muzzle at that eye line. So we bring the whole rifle down. So the rifle would be more probably like from here. Tuck the rifle some and get the end of the suppressor right there out in front of your eye. And what you can do here is from here you can push straight out on the target. Right, you can pick up the sight, and the muzzle is more oriented to your eye line. Right, we'll back it up, and I know we're going from a high ready versus a low ready. So in this case, if he had the rifle right here, he could push the muzzle out, right, and go straight back, and it would be in line with his eye, right? He's pushing out, and see right here, this is the glaring problem, is that he is dropping his head down into the rifle, right? His head and shoulder should already been there, and he'd just be pulling the rifle straight back into position and shooting as it meets his eye, right? So head movement, shoulder movement, upper body, have it in position here. That way all you're doing is extending the rifle and pulling it straight back into the shoulder. I would say have him clear. So he's trying to move it really close to his body here. That could get caught on things. So you want to push the rifle out more and bring it straight into the shoulder. As soon as you catch the sight, then you can shoot, right? All right, let's check out his full presentation. So let's say he could shoot here, right? This is full presentation. Let's get it lined up with the muzzle, right? So top of the stock, top of the receiver, top of suppressor, right? We'll set a timer. All right, see how long it takes him. See, almost over a second, right? Over a second to basically find his sight and the target, and we've moved the barrel down about an inch, right? An inch or two. So that's about, him having the rifle too high and his head and shoulders not in the right position. All that movement creates you not finding the sight. When you and the rifle come together, you end up having to fish for the sight, look for the sight, make sure it's aligned, and then fire a shot. It wastes a lot of time, right? So he could probably shave probably at least a half second. If he just had his head in the right position here with the shoulder, right? If he was already here, shoulder was here, and all he did was push the rifle out and bring it straight back. The rifle oriented, you know, tucked between the elbow, pin it to the body. That way, you know, if you had to run or whatever, the rifle isn't moving. The tip of the suppressor right in the eye line. Again, push it straight out, come straight back. Instead of it letting it go straight down to your crotch, what you want to do is try to turn it a little bit so that way it goes outboard, right? Once it gets outboard, right, I'll tell you where he can drop it. See if you pulled it outboard to his left, his hand could let go right here. Right, I've got a video on how I do this. You let it go, and then this hand, his left hand should already be coming up to mid chest, and prepared itself to meet with the gun hand, and then they can push straight out, right? So the rifle is still moving. You're moving your hand away from the rifle. You're bending your elbow. Your elbow, because the rifle is going to be more like out this way, right? Your elbow can pin the rifle to the body, right, as your arm begins to bend, right, up to meet the hand, right? So imagine the white lines are kind of the arm bending up. The point of the elbow, the point of the angle is the elbow. So you're pinning the rifle with your arm, and then you're bringing your hand up right here to meet with the right hand. It's staged and ready. By then, your right hand is coming out and pushing out to meet, right? Again, I did a video on this, so probably watch that if that makes more sense. It's kind of hard to do with the coach's eye on this. So don't let it hit your nuts. And then now he's spending a lot of time getting his hands. They meet here. And, right, so here is their meeting. And this is like the flat presentation of like the debate. Ready, flat presentation from here to here. Which is faster? Yes, it can be faster, but you have to practice and get really good at it. For your guys who, to have less reps, to get better sooner, I believe that you should be bringing the gun here to the workspace, picking up the front sight, right, is your eye line, approximate eye line. You pick up, and then the gun goes out with it, and it flattens out as it gets there, right? It's a little bit more time sometimes, but as soon as you get to full extension, you can shoot, right? And you can even shoot beforehand, depending how close you are to the target. So let's watch how long it takes him. He's moving quick. Looks like he's finding his sight. Let's give him... Let's say this is the apex of his presentation. If he was training correctly and had the dot or the front sight, he'd be able to be shooting now. So let's see how long it takes him. So another almost 7/10, 0.65 to shoot, right? Because you see him get there, and then he spends that much time looking for the dot, looking for the sight. Then he shoots. So had he been able to shoot at the apex of the presentation, he would have saved almost 7/10 of a second. All right, let's get the reload. All right, so I will say his magazine gets hung up a little bit there. Just got to shake it loose. Try to let it go when it's level, right? Let the gravity do the work. Click it, let it go. Now, right, if the gun is out in full extension, you know, it's shouldered and shooting, release the mag while it's still flat, like this. The magazine will fall straight to the deck, no problem. In this case, he's moving the gun up at the same time releasing it, and it's getting caught up because of the angle. All right, so here, he's pretty close. These are the two big things that he can do to improve this. A, drive the rifle back to where the stock is deep behind the elbow, like the back of the stock should be like back here, or like back here somewhere. And what you're doing is you're driving this arm into the ribs to pin that rifle, right? And then, as well as doing that, you want to rotate this 90 degrees. So the mag well is pointing 90 degrees that way. So make it really easy to come in with the magazine straight in. Right, you can see the mag well. It's not at a weird angle. It's very flat. And you have it pinned. Why is this important? It's important because you can do this while you're running, right? A lot of the fast techniques that people do where the gun leaves the shoulder, or where it's even just, pinned right here somewhere, or they hold it out in the air. Not only is that fatiguing, but it's unbalanced in the sense that it's a static type mindset. It'll work behind cover, all good, but if you're reloading on the run, you want that rifle deep and pinned, that's what she said, behind the elbow with the mag well facing 90 degrees to the left. This gives you a good orientation to put the magazine. So let's continue. So see, he's trying to get these two angles. He's looking for the mag well. He can't really see. But if that mag well is pointed straight on to the left and that magazine was coming in the other way, it'd be a lot easier. Right? I would also say when you tuck this rifle here, right, it's going to bring the tip of the muzzle closer to your eye line. Why is that important? Right? Same principle as going from the high ready. He's going to push it out from here, follow the muzzle, which is already going to be, bring the rifle in line with his eye and bring it straight back. So his rifle's a little high, doesn't have the best control. He's fiddling with the magazine, right? So now he's got to look, and so muzzle's high, he pushes out, moves his head a lot, and then he shoots. And so, it's difficult because I do this too, where I go to reload and I lean back and fix my posture. If he had this body position and just moved his arms to do the reload, all he'd have to do is push out and bring it straight back and shoot. So I think that's where he could save a lot of the time, make his movements a lot more efficient. In my next video, I'll do the next shooter, which is going to be this guy.